Let's talk about Fears. Now, you may not have heard of this brand, and I can understand why, because it's not a mainstream brand, but rather a recently revitalized brand. So, this company is actually one of Britain's oldest family run companies that has recently been resurrected by the founding father's great 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 grandson, Nicholas Bowman-Scargill. Today I want to talk about their latest release, which has everybody in the watch community, especially those who know the brand, to get really excited, because this is honestly one of the brand's biggest releases since 2016, which was when the brand was resurrected. So the Fears Watch Company is one of the oldest family-run companies in Britain, founded in 1846 by Edwin Fear, which was also the brand name at the time. And this brand was created approximately 59 years before Rolex. Unfortunately, the brand closed its doors in 1976. Just like everybody else, I thought that this happened because of the quartz crisis. This was not the case for Fears. The third managing director retired, and there was nobody to take the company forward, so they simply had to close up shop. Now, coming back to the current times, Nicholas was working at Rolex as a apprentice watchmaker, but he was passionate and wanted to do something more. And funny enough, he didn't even know about Fears, as in the brand was owned by his family. He only found about this when discussing his future with his mom at dinner. He found out that his family owns one of the oldest watch brands in Britain over roast potatoes. Damn, those must be good potatoes. So in 2016, naturally, he revitalized the brand. He relaunched the Fears Watch Company successfully. Now, when looking at some of their other watches, we kind of see a similar theme throughout the collection. There isn't a big collection because it's only been a few years since they have relaunched. Everything about the watch is hand built in the UK, except the movement. Nicholas is very open about this, which is kind of refreshing because he understands the frustration of brands trying to hide this fact and calling everything in-house when it actually isn't. When it comes to the watch movements, the brand often uses ETA base calibers, such as ETA 7001. By stripping them down and then servicing, decorating, finishing, regulates them to perform better than SCOSC certified movements, and then rebuilds them in-house before fitting them into the watches. So they are tightly involved with the whole watchmaking process, even if they don't make the movements in-house from scratch. Now let's look at some of their other watches to get things in perspective. One of them kind of resembles Panerai with their cushion case design, while the other one has a rectangular case, which people might say it resembles a Cartier or a Reverso. So coming back to the Brunswick, which is named after their first export premise, the cushion case closely resembles a Panerai, but here's the catch. Fears released their first cushion case watch in 1923, whereas Panerai Radiomir was released in 1935, almost 12 years after the release of Fears. Now, when it comes to the Fears rectangular watch, this was released in 1930, whereas the JLC Reverso was released in 1931, and the Cartier Tank was first released in 1917. So this release was still kind of in the era where the square watch was still hot in the industry. So now let's come back to the main event, the main watch that this video is all about, which is the Fears Garrick. This watch was made in partnership with the Garrick Watch Company, and this release has been worked on for 3 years by both brands. The curvaceous 42mm case is made and finished in Garrick's workshops with a polished 304L stainless steel case, which gives the watch a better shine and much more corrosion resistance. And even though they use a 42mm case size, this watch is going to wear smaller on the wrist as they use turned down lugs, which makes the watch appear smaller on the wrist, close to maybe a 40 to 41mm. When it comes to the dial, they're going all Grand Seiko here, with the watch featuring an old English white dial with a fine matte texture that kind of resembles a traditional paper. With diamond cut numerals that are applied by hand, each numeral is treated like a precious gem. Now, one of the most distinctive features of Fear's watches in general are their hands. This painstaking process of making the watch hands makes Fears one of the only British watch brands that construct watch hands in-house. Now, the movement was one of the things that made me really excited about this release, because even though there's an amazing story and an amazing finishing and decoration and work that goes into each of their watch movements, some of them are not even displayed or they're not shown on the website for some reason. The watch comes with the Garrick UTG04 manual wind movement, which is visible through their exhibition case back, and it is a gorgeous movement to look at. And with the balance wheel exposed at the 6 o'clock, this just emphasizes on the mastery of this movement. And this is a free sprung balance wheel, which results in higher stability and therefore a much better overall precision. The Garrick is paired with a English hand-sewn, handmade premium strap that has been tanned in Britain's oldest vegetable tannery, Thomas Weir and Sons. Even the watch box and the strap are made in Britain. Who are these watches for? Fears, in my opinion, is a brand that speaks to enthusiasts that are very much heritage driven. So if you want to buy a well-known brand, this may not be the brand for you. But if you're looking for a very unique, a wholesome heritage, a wholesome story that you can be proud of and you can kind of connect with, this may very well be a high-end watch for you. Nothing about this brand has been mass produced. Now, this release kind of indicates towards a few things in terms of what direction Nicholas is taking the brand towards. From the previous designs that we saw, like the Brunswick and the Fierce Rectangle, they're very much kind of reinterpretations of their previous vintage designs. But with the Garrick, we see a different story. We see the brand taking a more daring approach while still maintaining their traditions, while still maintaining their design language. Nothing has been compromised, but new things have been added. And understand one thing, even with this collaboration, it's not like the brand reached out to an older Swiss manufacturer, movement manufacturer. They reached out to a brand which is well known for creating British handmade movements. And I noticed one thing, that the way that Nicholas is doing this amazing job is that he is engaging with the watch community, listening to what people want. Even when you reach out to him on Instagram like I did, he was quick to respond. He's excited about watches in general. You know, he's a watch enthusiast just like a lot of us, and I believe that this is key in making the brand successful, that you know what the people want and you know what the enthusiasts crave. I am very excited to see what he comes up with next. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one.